sulky, over funky, kinda hulky superhero. Hot to twisted and electrically transistored superhero. Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, your agent of comic book knowledge, X7, also the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today we are going to be reviewing FOOM number 12. Is it my fault that it happens to feature all about the Vision and other things? Mostly the Vision, though. Really. But it was a great magazine, and I'm quite looking forward to it. There's the original cover by John Buscema and somebody Russell. So, having said all that, let's just get right into it. So, here it is, my copy of FOOM number 12. It is a little worn, a little beat up, as we are going to see. But before we get too much further into the show, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Anybody have thoughts on the synthetic hero? Not a robot, he's an android. Don't believe anything they say about him being a robot. There's the back of it, which we'll see later on. This was originally published, this is volume 1, number 12, December 1975. So I would have gotten it probably in October. It was the third issue I got when I joined FOOM, which was Friends of Old Marvel, which was, we're not going to look too much at it because I'm afraid if I sneeze, it'll disintegrate. Friends of Old Marvel was published from, let's see, what does it say? February 1973 to fall of 1978. It was a quarterly magazine, and I just moved away from here. Quarterly magazine, and you got 4 of them when a yearly subscription. So my first one was number 10, which was the X-Men. Number 11 was Jack Kirby returning to Marvel. And then this one I could not have been happier about, because by 1975, he was my hero by then. You can see the wonderful episode about the Vision on GD Splanations, where I go far more into it. It was Lilith's idea, so that's on her. Some of the images came from this collection here. This one does not appreciate this one, but there he is, the Swordsman and Mantis. But it has the first 10 issues or so issues 101 to 110 that I read and collected. The run. It was my first real run of getting books in a row. And even then I didn't get all of them because distribution was spotty at that time. But these are just wonderful. Can't buy them any for, they're really great, even at 30 or 40 bucks a pop. So having said all that, did you like shirt? Yes, said that. And let's get on to the FOOM review. And really, Marvel, why haven't you collected FOOM? There weren't that many issues, really. It ran 22 quarterly issues, and it was just a fun magazine. It replaced the canceled Marvel Mania and preceded Marvel Age, and then of course the Merry Marvel Marching Society was the first. This one was produced by Marvel themselves. So this should be a pretty short episode, because really it's just about the magazine, and the magazine isn't very long at all. And it was about 3 months ahead of time, but it had 5 months worth of, in the back, Department of Information, where you'd get what was coming out, X-Men 98, and Giant Superhero Team Up, Guardians of the Galaxy, I bought that one, Marvel Presents, Skull the Slayer, the Champions that Godzilla fought, and then one we'll see in a little bit. And we see the introduction of the Shroud, the Invaders, the Inhumans, and it only runs about 30 pages, and that's with full illustrations. The illustrations are wonderful. As you can tell, somebody decided to write in or color in some of his. I did a pretty good job, though. I ran out of some greens. So there's both Visions side by side. Arcus the Vision from the 40s from Timely Comics, created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. And only read a few of his adventures, and I I'd like to have a collection if they do that, please. Please and thank you. Let's see. It first appeared in Marvel Mystery Comics 13, which of course was where Submariner and the Human Torch debuted. And he was not he traveled from another. He was an alien from another dimension, or someone. He has very similar looking costume, and there's no coincidence there. Roy Thomas is a comic book historian, so that's why they have an astoundingly similar look. And also, look at the smoke. There he is. Nice picture of him with his Buccaneer boots. Gotta love the Buccaneer boots. And then there's his. I think that's from the art by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. So possibly Shangri-La, Dimension of Smoke. And I just include this because it's got a dinosaur in it. There's one of the logos for FOOM and another Vision. And now we have. So the first story in most if they had a dedicated subject, was about that. And this was Vision, This Is Your Life, which was, of course, a play on the This Is Your Life, whoever that was popular back in the day, back then. This has been 50 years ago. 50 years. This magazine's 50 years old. It's in better shape than I thought. So I didn't know anything about the original Vision at that time. I'd missed Avengers, the end of the Kree Skrull War, where the original Vision showed up along with the Blazing Skull and the Patriot and the original Human Torch, interestingly enough. But this goes through how the Vision was created and came about. Now, at this time, by 75, they had decided that, or Steve Englehart, who was writing the Avengers, had decided that he was, I don't know if he was reincarnation, but he was the body of the original Human Torch, who, ironically enough, was an android who functioned like a human. He ate food, and according to his sidekick Toro, the Marvel's second mutant, because the Submariner was Marvel's first, chronologically speaking, not comic book wise, because who knows these days. He did everything humans did. So there you have that. So the Vision could eat, but then again, the Vision's been retconned about 6,000 times. And I purposefully neglected to show this panel to Lilith because I knew she'd use it. But, the Wanda has also been retconned about 7,000 times too, and I don't think that they've been any better. I get that her father being who he is makes sense, but apparently she's not a mutant anymore. Who cares, right? But they give her we have a little bit of her history. There's a John Byrne, lovely drawing by John Byrne. And you give a quiz and you can write to them. I wish I'd have said that, although I only know Carnilla, the Enchantress, Clea, Adam Warlock. The other 1, 2, 3, 4. I only got 5 of them. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. So probably the late Mr. Owari would have known all of them. That looks like Glinda the Good, doesn't it? So these are probably Norns. That is maybe one of Marvel's versions of the Crypt Keepers. I don't know. Some behind the scenes stuff with there. Then we get another picture of Arcus. And I just like this MarvelCon 76, 3-hour-long art lessons by John Buscema. Free Kung Fu exhibitions, because Kung Fu is a big thing still in 76. That's just amazing. I mean, it was I don't even know. It had to be in New York, yeah, because everything was in New York. 3 days. Here's my $10. I mean, it cost you another 100 to get out there and another 100 to stay, but although at 11, I wouldn't be allowed to go there. And there's a FOOM advertisement. Now, FOOM was just so much fun. When you got the kit, it came with a poster, which we'll see. There was always a comedy sketch here, or just a drawn thing about Jonah being a cheapskate and the Vision needing a job. Otherwise, she was going to hex him. And right in. So I still find this humorous. I just like the way this goes. You don't see it now. There's a colored one of there, and now we talk to the writer, the current writer, And I don't know who was doing this. And then they talked to the former writer, Roy Thomas, who worked with Steve a lot. Roy throws in a line in Avengers 102 or 103, 102 about a Sentinel attacking Wanda and the Vision defending her because he's in love with her. And that he's an android of 3 decades vintage. Geez, Sentinels were using of a certain vintage before my sainted mother was. Be that as it may, I'm still going to use it. I'm better than the Sentinels. Everyone is. And so that was a clue, but Roy just threw it in. He says he did. And here he's like, I didn't really plan on him being the Human Torch. And now they've retconned that. He's an exact duplicate that Immortus made down to the exact atom. So there could be a Human Torch and a Vision both existing at the same time in the Marvel Universe. Thank you, John Byrne. I love your art, but sometimes your stories annoyed me. And now we're done. So that's done with the Avengers part. So they go into this, the Department of Information. I bought 3 of these comic books right off the rack. Guess which ones? Leave a comment if you have a guess. And of course, in 1975, Marvel did not have a cartoon on the air. The Super Friends was going strong, and you'd think somebody somewhere would have said, hey, Marvel's got all these superheroes with great stories. And there would be the Fantastic Four would show up in 78 with the much maligned, but not altogether awful, new Fantastic Four with Herbie. Yeah, I know. But once again, and I am cautiously optimistic about the new Fantastic Four movie. I think it looks pretty darn cool so far. I'm hoping. But, there's Paul Bettany as the Vision holding the hammer, proving he's worthy, which no one ever thought of back in the day, but it was such a great shot. So here was our first animated Vision from, I want to say, Spider-Man. It might have been Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, or the one that he did solo from 81, because both of them were around at the same run right after the other. I don't remember. I took this is a picture from my television screen. And so that was, the Wanda had shown up in the Captain America cartoons, but and so with Thor, Iron Man, and Cap, as we can hear right here, right? I mean, that's the thing. An exotically erotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived. So this is the Vision from the much maligned, and I have not seen more than one episode, United They Stand, voiced by Ron Rubin. It was, they gave him armor. The Vision does not need armor. He can turn his body, change become ephemeral, or change if I have thought this. He can become intangible or as hard as diamond. So he can give Thor a run for his money for a couple of seconds. He's not quite as strong as Thor. But this was, everyone had armor in the 90s. It's just 1999. Yeah, it was awful. I'd kind of like to see it again because Tigra is in it. And you know me, I love some Tigra. We'll probably have to, if I ever get around to watching that stupid show. It might be on Disney Plus. I'll have to look. Then he was in Avengers Assemble. Is that it? Is that the one that I really liked? Yeah. And it was voiced by David Kaye. And he's a member of the Mighty Avengers and the all different Avengers. Oh my gosh, really? Heroes of Tomorrow? So, I mean, Paul, anyway, we're not talking about the Vision. We're talking about FOOM. So here's some more. This is the 102. Yeah, there it is. 3 decades vintage. See? There's Quicksilver being a dink. And it just, yeah. I like the character. As costume's great, but boy, was he just unreasonable. So these are the first 1, 2, 3, and I didn't put the fourth one up. I did have to take a couple of shots here because this came from the book and it didn't come out right. And it just, the Grim Reaper, the Vision's so-called brother, Eric Williams, actually Wonder Man's brother, Simon Williams' brother, Eric Williams, has offered the Vision the body of Wonder Man, and then he ups the ante and says, I'll give you the body of Captain America. And the Vision's going through, oh, I'm not human. I'm not worthy of loving Wanda, blah, blah, blah. And this is the final book, and I love this one. Final book in that storyline. So maybe I only read up to 100. I did read 109, 110, and I have almost in these collections almost over 200 of the issues, the first 200 plus other appearances. This was one I bought, and that taught me about really taught me about bigotry and how bad it is, because these lunatics, they don't like mutants, but they don't like androids who aren't even human kissing mutants, because at least she's human, homo superior, if you will. So it's a good story, but I seem to have gotten in on stuff where the Vision almost gets killed. It's happened several times in the comic books, as opposed to a certain movie. And there's the poster that you've got. I want to say that it's a Steranko, which is just lovely. Look, they've got one woman. I mean, they could have two. Well, she was the Invisible Girl at the time, but the Invisible Woman could be in there, right? But it's a lovely, well thought out. I don't know why the X-Men were nowhere back then. They were in reprints. They weren't even the all new. Well, I guess they were coming out, but the Angel wasn't even part of them, and the Surfer wasn't being published. I mean, it's an odd choice. The Inhumans, but you'd think they'd have put the Wasp in there somewhere. Marvel did not have a lot of female superheroes. Wanda should have been in there. Of course, that would have been two redheads, but be that as it may. But everybody else there had a book. I mean, and Black Bolt, the Inhumans, and the Black Widow shared one. So it was part of the gift set, or the gift. And we're just going to show them getting married, because I can. And there's the back of the book, the back of the magazine. So mine had my name on it. Well, no, it didn't. It came in a manila envelope, which I was happy about. So it didn't have me. But boy, you can see that's torn there. And I did read this a lot. And I read it today while researching. So I love this drawing too. That looks like I don't know who did that back artwork. It's got her name on it, but it's kind of torn off there. Does it say? Let me look here. I'll do some quick research. Let's see. Patty was Dave Cockrum, the late Dave Cockrum's wife, and Al Milgrom probably. So that's good. Good on them. I think it's just a really cute picture. I noticed Wanda's not wearing heels right now because it's Captain America taught her how to fight. She probably figured out that you can't brace yourself. All right, my fellow agents, that is our episode for today. There will be a little snippet of a movie, and I thought I fixed that. Oh, well, you can watch me fix it in real time, but I'll still forget. Until our next assignment tomorrow, which will be the Green Hornet. Got 3 episodes of the Green Hornet. But this is X7 signing off.
Watch them change their very shape before your nose. See arcane striking superhero change to fighting superhero.
I turned that key and dropped this rock a little early, and it's still billions dead. Even you can't stop that.
I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say. Are you ready?
It's terribly well balanced.
Well, if there's too much weight, you lose power on the swings.